Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Cancer Chronicles. This week, I'm joined by a very special guest and close friend, Suzanna Dee. Susanna's background, professional recording artist and singer-songwriter for the best part of nearly 20 years. This week, bit of a special edition. We're talking about music within gaming as well. And Suzanna obviously does have a bit of a passion for gaming, but music has been her main core drive. She's been known for working with the Spice Girls and SClub 7 and many other various artists. Good afternoon, Suzanna, and welcome to the show.
Good afternoon. Welcome.
I suppose the first question really beginning is, where did your musical journey start?
Oh, God, how long have you got?
About 10 minutes. Can we get it in?
Yeah, okay, cram it in. Right. So at the age of 8, I realised that I could harmonise, and I did this when I was at school. My music teacher recognised that. Was like, what's that going on? Some of you know that I've got black and white hair, and there's a reason for that. Is because the fact that I get bored very easily. So then I started harmonising to stuff, and I moved on to work with the likes of Music Factory. So some of you guys know who Music Factory was. So I impersonated people because I was still trying to find my voice at that point in time. And then I worked Steelworks, working with the Spice Girls, S7, Billy Piper.
So who's your best impersonation then?
Actually, children.
Children? Okay.
I know that sounds really bad. No, but I had to do like nursery rhymes and things like that.
Okay.
Where they couldn't actually get children involved. So I had to like impersonate kids and stuff. I don't know if I can do that now because I'm a bit getting too old. Like
You're never too old in this industry. That's what I always say. So, quick question for you: sash or chicane?
Oh, chicane.
Chicane. Good choice. Good choice.
You know what? Because the fact is the BPM, and when I remember going to the Maldives, one thing that I wanted to do is listen to salt water and seeing the waves and things like that. But
which has the that's the one with the vocals from Clanadin, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, and also it's very peaceful. It's very trance. So yeah, that's a good question. Good call.
Right. Okay. So, where would you say you've got an interest in gaming? I mean, obviously, I know you don't have much time to game because you're quite busy. Obviously, either you're in the studio or obviously working on projects. But where did your sort of gaming experience come from, or your earliest memory of gaming?
Pac-Man.
Pac-Man. Good choice.
My mum and dad bought me a game console, and I was just, because my attention span is of a gnat. I used to love Pac-Man because it was like, where's it going, and what we're eating, where's the ghost coming, where, you know. And it was the yellow small console. I think it was about this big, wasn't it?
Oh, right. So you want a handheld?
Proper Pac-Man. So that was because my mum and dad realised that I've got attention span of a gnat. It's like, yeah, there you go, there's a console. Play with that. It's like, right, okay. But developing from that, my husband finds it really interesting that now we've got a PS4, we play games, and I swear and curse at the game because I'm going, I don't know where to go now. So it's a bit like a Pac-Man, but a bigger version. So it's like, all right, we've got communities here. I don't know. What button do I press? It's like, back button, up button. I don't know. So I just get frustrated.
So you mentioned you worked with the Spice Girls. So dare I ask, did you ever have a favourite Spice Girl?
Mel C.
Mel from Liverpool.
Mel C. Yeah, and the reason being is because when I worked at Steelworks, Elliot Kennedy, who I've now reconnected with, thankfully, he put her and Brian Adams together. Because he saw the potential in her music and everything else. But when I worked in the studio and everything else, everything was prominent that she did a lot of the backing vocals for that. I'm not slating them by any iota, but it's understanding your talent. But she had most talent for, you know, the Spice Girls. That's how I see. Personality wise, I would say Melanie B.
Mel B,
Jerry, I've worked with Jerry and Jerry through all together now. So I kind of, it's understanding each Spice Girls have gone and done their other kind of things. So it's kind of different to kind of think about what's your favourite Spice Girl for what reason. But Melanie C for me.
That's cool. Good choice. So for people that don't know, Suzanna obviously is probably more recognised for her cover version of Mariah McKee's "Show Me Heaven." How did that come about then?
Weird.
With the song, yeah.
A weird situation. So when I was working for Music Factory, the production, the Mark Smith, who was a producer working for Energize and Music Factory at the time, said it would be great for you to get involved. And I did get a phone call whilst I was working in a temp job at the time, because obviously you have to fund your job and everything else, because you never know when the work's going to come in. And he said, "How do you fancy doing this record?" And I went, "Right, okay." Nikki was going to do it, Nikki French, but however, she was stuck with Mike Stock with a contract, and would you like to do it? And I went, "Why not?" So that conversation came about, and then I remember I'd done a Hyde Park or somewhere in London, and then I remember doing the temp job, going on a bus, and then I got this phone call saying, "We've got a massive record deal now for Show Me Heaven," and I'd already pre-recorded it, and actually we did it as a ballad rather than being a dance, because that's how you get the motion through music. And he said, "Do you fancy doing this music video?" I went, "Right." Got a record deal. I went, "Right, okay." So I didn't know where that was going to head off to. That was It was a big thing. It was with Inferno Records, which sadly that aren't with us anymore. But that's pretty much how it came about. We did the video. It got to number 36 in the charts. I remember that absolutely as like a dream. And it was the enticement of actually knowing when it was coming out. There was lots of delays with, with the actual release of it and everything. But I did a lot of gigging and a lot of promotion and everything else. And that's how we actually had to have like CDs and stuff, proper merchandise that we had to do ourselves, and publications, because the record label was going through bad turmoil. It's the same record label that did DJ Sammy. I can't remember the track, but anyway. So that's basically how it came about and where it got to.
Okay, okay. So another quick question: Venga boys or Venga don't?
I love these quick questions. Venga boys, I mean, come on. I mean, seriously. I mean, okay, let's talk about when we used to go out in the 90s, and we used to have a few beers and whatever, and let's go party. Is it that the one?
Yes, don't let us sort of put people through that. I mean, as you know, Suzanna obviously has done other records.
Not Venga boys.
Not Venga boys. No. Suzanna has done other records. Now, she did a record called 1 in a Million. Now, I believe that's where the sort of the cancer journey started, didn't it? Because obviously you've had a bit of a scare in the past, but you've actually been affected by cancer from seeing people from the outside. And I believe that 1 in a Million, obviously that record, if you like to tell our listeners how that sort of began, that sort of, how could I put it, learning about what people go through with cancer then, I suppose. So how did that come about?
So I came out of the industry for quite some time just to bring up my children, and then I came back and I thought, do you know what, I'll do some research. And then I thought, I'll go through all the tracks and the songs that I've done. And then it came about that I just put on like YouTube all the ones that all the fans and everything else have put, oh, this is a great track, this, that and the other. And then I saw this yellow screen with a red writing on that said Chelsea, and it said a date with a date, and I went, I don't understand. Please follow me on Facebook, this, that and the other. And then I got a message from somebody in Scotland who basically his niece died of a rare, I think it was blood cancer, if I'm rightfully thinking about it. So don't correct me if I'm wrong.
No.
But she sadly passed away at the age of 13.
Mm-hmm.
So that hospital that they brought up her has been very much connected with me. And the reason being is the guy that contacted me, he's a DJ.
Right.
So
Yeah.
he said, you know, 1 in a Million was played in Glasgow, Edinburgh, and all up there. And I don't know if that's to do with actually the hospice itself. However, you know, I've regularly gone to that hospice to just see the experience and also support, you know, the family that have gone through that trauma.
Yeah.
Because as you know, you and I know that cancer comes with trauma. It's not all about actually the bereavement. It's all about actually living with it and knowing every day that you wake up and you're going, yes, I'm okay. So a lot of that hospice in Scotland is to deal with children, even babies, that have got cancer, which is a really sad thing to do. However, you know, I played, in fact, actually, let me just show you something. This is actually, oh no, I've dropped it now, but anyway. This was, you can't probably see it properly.
No.
But this was, well, it basically, this piece of paper, it was with a boy called John, who I went to the hospital and I drew around his hand and he drew around mine, and he was so, how can I put it, so exhausted. He wanted to play and he didn't know how to, because he was just so exhausted. And you and I know, like, going through that, there is some outlet as to where we can focus on, you know, these people going through whatever they need, but because chemo gives you that much exhaustion that you need some kind of outlet.
Yeah,
I suppose from a game perspective, from your point of view, that's helped. And what I'm trying to do with the 1 in a Million is being able to re-release it, to be able to go, this is a gift to you, and if whatever donation that I can do, then that's up to them to do whatever do for the greater good.
Yeah, I mean, I know in previous conversations, you know, as we discussed as friends as well, you've obviously you've seen a lot of good friends being taken by this disease, and obviously you've been affected on a very personal level with your own family, with your mum having it and your dad as well, obviously from the bomb testing as well, and obviously you're very strong advocates as well for the LGBTQ plus community as well. How did you find that you dealt with it when you learned about your parents having cancer?
So my mum, again, you and I have had this conversation, but my dad is very old, no disrespect to him. He's 84 now, bless him.
And a massive trance fan, I believe you told me as well.
You what, sorry?
And a massive trance fan as well.
He loves my music, yeah. But yeah, my mum got pancreas cancer, and that was 3 years ago, and how we found out is because she was very ill. She's a very active person. She likes to go out and do gardening and stuff like that. And then she was just for 3 months, like, just not well. And so we said, right, and she wasn't eating right as well. So we said, right, go see your doctor, go get diagnosed and see what happens. So they gave her some tablets and this, that and the other, and it was a bit misconstrued. And then she went through the CT scan, and then they found out she got cancer. So my dad got a letter through stating this really complicated, he didn't say pancreas cancer, it had this terminology that somebody who's old doesn't understand that. So it was only my sister, because I don't live near my dad, that found this letter and said, it said the word cancer. So then my dad panicked, thinking cancer, but what is this? So nobody really kind of explained, and I spoke to somebody yesterday, nobody explained what that cancer was and how to process it.
Correct.
And the next steps, I went to go visit my mum for the first time. I've not seen her for a while. And then went in the hospital, and then we had this kind of package that said bereavement, or if anything happened, this, that and the other, but nobody explained to the family what that meant. So it was kind of and you and I know this. It's I don't really know what that means. Does that mean my mum's going to survive? And also that the doctors kind of go, yes, fine, yes. And it's like, what does that mean? Don't know. Nurses go, talk to the doctor while he's going, yes, yeah. I'm going, well, what does this mean? So as a family member, I was just kind of, I don't understand where next steps to do things. So you're apprehensive, you get stressed out, you get anxiety, and you're going, right, well, what does mum need now? Or what does whoever need now? And it became quite a stressful time, if I'm perfectly honest. And that's not just because obviously you've gone through cancer as well, but when you're a family member going through that and understanding how to help and the next steps forward, there was no process, and it's nothing, no disrespect to NHS because they've done an amazing job, and especially at this given time, but it's understanding how that process works. So yeah, it was a difficult time.
So I take it music's been obviously a great release and an outlet as well for you personally, obviously, because these issues, as you know, with cancer do affect people's mental health, whether it's you're a person who cares for somebody or it's somebody that you love or somebody that you know. These things do have a massive impact and a massive play. And how's music helped you through some difficult times?
I think, well, as you know, I'm an advocate for trance and EDM music, so I love that. That sometimes helps me out by listening. So when I'm listening to music, I just literally focus out. Because as I've said to you before, that my brain goes at a million miles an hour sometimes. That sometimes music kind of goes, I'm chill. But the effect of music, I mean, the fact is that 1 in a million was affected, that person got in touch with me to say that was an advocate. And sorry, I didn't mention this, but all the words to that song was actually put in her grave. So when she passed away, so yeah, that kind of emotion that you think that you could actually change somebody's life, even if it's one particular person, or if it's lots, you know, it emotionally, you know, music does invigorate us to search our souls, I suppose, in that respect. And then to reflect. And I mean, you know, and I know that there's little certain songs that you kind of go, oh, I remember that day that I listened to that track.
And creating an emotional link to that as well. So another quick fire question: Morales or Murillo?
Murillo,
good choice. So before we get to the end of today's episode, what does the future hold for you for the next 12 months with you with your recording work? I mean, I believe you've got some upcoming projects coming up, I believe.
So yeah, I heard I've just been watching TV and heard Billy Piper's doing decorating or something. However, I just realised that last week was the anniversary, which was a track that I did, BV's backing vocals for Billy Piper. And I thought, right, okay, Instagram this. So I'm going to be doing a lot of social media and things like that.
Brilliant.
Also, obviously, being a chair of the charity that we're running, being able to plug and be able to promote and get sponsorship.
The kick.
The key.
You now owe the swear jar a pound for the box now.
Brilliant.
So I believe that you've got a project, if I'm allowed to disclose it, you may be possibly working with Kathy Brown.
You can disclose it. So we're trying to look at doing collectively in my past, as you know, Steve, and that I've worked with a lot of house divas. I've not worked with Kathy, but however, she's become a really dear friend. But trying to collectively put this together and make it a TV show, that how we've become the people that we have through experience, bearing in mind that we've all gone through like literally 25 years experience, all of us, to knowing how to then develop the next generation of divas, because there is no divas anymore. Who can you say? I mean, who can you say now who is a diva? Mariah Carey's tried there, but she's gone there and then she mind. But anyway, let's just...
let's not get on the Carey subject.
But there's no powerful divas out there.
No,
so,
the greats have gone.
They've gone. And that is to do with, and when I spoke to Kathy yesterday, was about we don't have any soul anymore, and singers just go with the trend and they don't know where to go. And I mean, I do get a lot of messages from singers that want ask advice and things like that, but there's no somebody that can actually just go up the roof and just belt it out or have some colour in the voice. So that'll be an interesting project, if I'm perfectly honest.
And can we look forward to another single maybe next year?
Possibly.
We'll have to wait and see then. Listen, Suzanna, it's been great talking today, and thank you for coming on board the Cancer Chronicles. Thank you very much. See you soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.